It's really easy to dream about being a successful artist when you're a child or a teenager, but as you reach your 20s and beyond, and the bills start piling up and rent is due, every aspiring artist reaches a certain point where they have to ask themselves, is pursuing art worth it, or should I just get a real job? And if you clicked on this video, you're probably asking yourself that exact question now. You want me to tell you, keep going, chase your dreams. If I can do it, you can too. But I'm not gonna give that to you. I'm just gonna be as honest as I can in this video. And if you don't like that, go watch a David Goggins video.
With success in life comes balls.
The internet is filled with self-help, motivational entrepreneur bros that'll give you the empty self-help advice that you probably wanna hear. Just being real with you, pursuing art as a career has destroyed me mentally multiple times. This life is not fun all the time. I mean, I'm glad I did it because it worked out for me in the end. But I think it's really irresponsible to tell everyone out there, you know what, drop everything and pursue art. And if we're going by statistics, most of you probably aren't gonna make it. You know, for every one artist, every painter, illustrator, designer that can make a living as an artist, there's thousands that have to lay bricks or deliver food or become an accountant. That's just facts. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not saying it's impossible. I think it's very possible. All I'm saying is that the answer to the question, should I pursue art, is much more nuanced than just a yes or a no. And that's what we're gonna dive into with this video. Let's start off by defining what success means. The funny thing about artists, you know, myself included, is that we obsess about this idea of making it, yet most of us never actually sit down and think about what does that actually mean for us? And to me, I think success as an artist it's kind of like autism. There's an entire spectrum of it. If you've ever read about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I believe you can draw up the exact same pyramid, but apply it for success as an artist. At the very bottom, I would list hobbyists and students. And then above that, the side hustlers. And then above that, full-time employed creatives. And then above that, independent self-employed creatives. And then right at the top, we've got the rich, famous, elite artists. As you can see, there's a large spectrum of what a successful artist can look like. You know, some people want to be here, and they won't be happy unless they sell out stadiums or run international art exhibitions or land on the cover of Time magazine. For others, it's as simple as just being able to afford rent and to put food on the table, doing what they love. And for some people, they don't even need money to feel successful. They're totally happy to draw in their little sketchbooks and to never show or publish that to anyone. I personally think that last one's a little bit of a cope, but you do you. Where you choose to aim for in this spectrum will dictate your trajectory as an artist, as well as how happy you'll be in life. Okay, now that you've defined what success means to you, you need to ask yourself an even harder question. And that is to know the limits of your talent and then to decide if it's still worth the effort. I'm a firm believer that you can do anything if you set your mind to it. I used to be an art teacher for a couple years, and I've taught anyone from 4 years old to 80 years old. And what I learned through all that is that artistic ability can be trained. It's an ability like anything else, but it's your personality that's gonna be more important in the long term. Some people, man, they just got that dog in them. An easier way to view it is to think of life as if it was an RPG game. And career choice is kind of like warrior class. You know, you got your knights, your paladins, your healers. You also have artists, finance bros, and tradies. And they all have their own individual skill-based attributes. Learn who you are and then sink into that. Here are some traits you should ask yourself. Are you extroverted or are you shy? Do you enjoy taking risks or do you prefer to take the safe path in life? Are you naturally independent or do you like to follow the rules? Are your parents rich? If you said yes to traits on the left-hand side, I would say you're well equipped for the artist lifestyle. For me personally, I've given up on art a couple times in my life because I'm a bit of a realist. I knew I could play it safe and work in STEM. And you know, I've got a decent IQ, I went to university, I was educated, all that. I tried to convince myself I wanted to work in the medical field, but my base skill attributes just doesn't lend itself to working in a hospital or in a STEM job. I love art so much. I live and breathe art, man. I love coming up with an idea, producing it, filming it, editing it, and then hitting publish. I love bleaching my hair and not having to wear a suit every day. I like hanging out with weirdos, the outcasts, people with like 20 piercings and 10 bloody pronouns. I love the creative process so much it kills me. It drains me not being able to do that for a lifestyle. I find it funny how motivational speakers always talk about the importance of discipline. I mean, of course you need some level of discipline, but I've never had to rely on routine. If you're a pure creative, you don't need it. You just do it. When I have a creative idea, I have no problem working on it for 18 hours a day. I'm talking like I'm locked up in my apartment. I don't even have meals, dude. I don't eat solid food. I just drink milk all day. It sounds like I'm exaggerating, but no, that's actually what I do. Even when I wrote this script, it was like 1 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. I had to get up at 7 a.m. the next day. My body just becomes a vessel to create. It feels like it's a curse or a virus that just consumes me. After giving up on art twice in my life, I always eventually come crawling back. I'm confident there's no other path I can take in life than to pursue being a full-time creative. That's my personal experience with it. And talking to other working creatives, that's how they feel as well. I think it's something you're just born with. Anyway, let's bring it back to the original question of the video. Should you pursue art or should you just quit and get a real job? I would say you need to estimate, and be brutally honest here, estimate how much passion you have for this. What level of natural talent are you working with? And in the context of your own personal character traits, ask yourself, are you still willing to put in the work to pursue art? And it's okay to say no, no one will judge you. There might be something better for you out there anyway. It's kind of the smart thing to do, right? Is to give up. I mean, it's a competitive industry. It doesn't pay well early on. Not everyone's cut out for it. But if you listen to this entire video of me low-key trying to discourage you from pursuing art, and you thought to yourself, nah, that doesn't apply to me, or I want to prove this guy wrong, you, my friend, are gonna make it as an artist. All right, peace. So I'm wrapping up the edit of this video, and I realized that I wasn't sure if I got my message across very well. But basically, if I could sum it up, is that art is a very difficult path. You can make it if you have a combination of natural talent and passion and determination. But if you don't have all three, I would suggest you try something else, because if you wanted to become, let's say, an accountant, I always pick on accountants, but let's just use them one more time. If you wanted to become an accountant, it's a very straightforward path. You go to university, you do your 3 or 4 years, then you do your traineeship, and then you pass the CPA and then become a registered accountant, right? It's so straightforward. You don't need to really have that special X factor to you, because there's a high demand for it. Art, it's very low demand, and you're competing against everyone in the world. I mean, I'm competing with some Mexican kid that's willing to do illustration for $2 an hour. You know what I mean? I really have to be fucking good. Art is worth it if you have the passion, the natural talent, and the determination to stick with it. But I hope I didn't discourage people who really want to do this, because like I said earlier in the video, if you're really born for this life, you can't do anything else. I almost became an electrician, and I knew that if I became that, for the next 50 or 60 years of my life, I would resent waking up every day, not fulfilling my potential as an artist or as a creative. And to me, that sounds like hell on earth. We do this shit because we love it. And if any of that resonated with you, you have to do this. You'd be doing a disservice to you if you don't pursue an art career. That's my take on it, and I'm sticking with it. And so far it's worked out for me, so it should work out for you too.